Good evening and welcome to our online open evening here at Kerry College for media graduates and career changers and returners. And I know people are still logging in there, so we'll let them log in and we'll start as we should on time. I suppose this is an online open event, the first one we've held in a while from our Digital Skills Centre in Tralee. And it's about our media production programs, which are quite unique and target a very particular type of person. My name is John Hurley. I'm an assistant manager at Mona Valley campus. I look after all the media courses, amongst other things. And my background's in media. It's in radio, it's in audio, it's in voiceover, it's in content development, mostly for audio. So even though I'm now managing these programs, I have a deep love for this area, a deep love for media. And there's no better feeling than to move media graduates and makers into the industry that they want to get into, but it's becoming increasingly difficult for people to do that. And that's why we're here. And that's why we feel we would have a solution for some of you people on the call with us this evening. Our 4 courses, broadcast production skills, is really crew skills for the film and television sector in Ireland. It's a long-running course, 35 years on the run. Brian Nolan is the lead on the program. You'll hear from Brian a little bit later on. We have a new program starting with Kerry-born award-winning writer, producer and director Jared Barrett, content development for film and television. Jared's on the call this evening, and you'll be hearing from Jared a little bit later on. This is an all-new program. Really about developing and incubating your creative idea for film and television and screen media. And we're very excited about it. It's a new course that's only run at Kerry College and unique to Kerry College. So we'll tell you more about that in a little while. Also, digital content producer, our lead, Jim Toomey, is on the call as well this evening. This is really digital content across photographic, visual comms, video for online delivery, which is a huge growth area, as we would all know. And then digital journalism, podcasting, and radio. So audio hasn't gone away. And Joe McGill and Connie Broderick from our partner organization, Radio Kerry, are on the call as well tonight. We've run a course with them for many, many years very successfully. And they've got 1 or 2 very exciting things to tell us as well about that program. So I guess, first of all, thanks to you for joining us. I know people are really busy. We're going to keep this to a 60-minute session. We're going to keep it brief. There's 3 parts to this online session. First, we'll tell you a little bit about our experience and our ethos around how we run these courses. We'll also then run through each of the 4 courses in just 5 slides, keeping it really brief. We're all talkers, so if we didn't put a limit on it, we'd be here for some time. But then the big part of this evening is your questions, and that's the Ask Me Anything. So what we're telling people really is this evening is about your questions. And if you've got a question, the Q&A button at the bottom or top of the screen, depending on how you're viewing this, or if you're on your mobile, it'll be at the bottom. There's a Q&A button. You click that and you ask your question, and we'll get this question in and we'll queue it for our panel to deal with it a little bit later on. So what I would say to you is ask as we go along, and we'll deal with the questions later, okay? So a couple of quick things. These are graduate programs. There is a mature route available, of course, for 23 plus. So career changers and returners are more than welcome as well. These are people that might have a little bit of experience in media, and they're looking at coming back, either changing career or coming back to education and training. Ideal for you as well. So I guess, look, reality check. Media production has changed. I think we all know that, right? Seismically. So now everybody is a maker, okay? Any app that you download, from sort of TikTok to Instagram, anybody with a phone, with a smartphone, is a maker. And not only that, but they've got eyeballs, they've got ears, and they're making lots of money. So things have sort of become a little bit corrupted in the last couple of years. It's brilliant when you get there, but it doesn't make it easy for everybody to get that level of social media success, which is sort of distorting the picture a little bit. Technology barriers have gone down. It's very easy to make stuff now. The gatekeepers to global audiences like TV networks, aren't as powerful as they were. There's decentralization, there's fragmentation, but great content will always find its audience. We know that. But there's also so much noise out there. There's so much distraction. There's so much competition for attention. And the rules very much have changed, right? So for school leavers, where would they start? For grads like yourselves, how do you bridge to work? It's tough, right? People talk about the experience gap, the taste and sensibilities gap, the what have you made gap, like what have you actually done? So we've met people who've come out of courses and they feel they've made nothing. They don't have anything to show. They have no portfolio, so they feel they can't make the next step. But that's only part of the problem. Then there's the networking gap. Who do you know and what do they know about what you know? There's the confidence gap, genuinely. Like, you need to have confidence in what you know and what you can do. So what's our approach, right? First, we acknowledge it's tough. It is tough. There's no question. But, it's not about promises. It's about industry insights that we can give you when you come and spend time with us in Kerry. I think number two, you must know the rules. We talk about how the rules have changed, but there are rules, and there is a way, and there is a process, and you must know them. And for employers, they want to know, like, how knowledgeable are you? How skillful are you? How do you respond to things? Are you resilient? How can you talk to people? This is a really big one, actually. Can you talk to people? And can you do it in different settings and at different levels? And the final thing then is, look, the training that you get needs to reflect what the industry needs. If you are not getting the skills and the attitude and the competence and the knowledge that industry want, well, then you won't get a job. And you won't be able to make any headway in the sector. So we're crystal clear on that. And it's a big part of what we do. So to that end, we try to not train people in classrooms as much as possible, and we want to train them in studios. So we have an incredible facility in Kerry. Kerry people are very humble normally, but we think our facility is incredible. Incredible access to equipment. We have full TV broadcast studio there. We have full audio post-production suite. We have a number of post-production suites for video and audio. We have a full radio broadcast studio, full talk studio for podcast production. We also have a photographic studio. We have a design studio. We will have a writer's room from September with our new program. And then in Kerry, obviously, we're super lucky. We've got the great outdoors. So there's no traffic jams. There's not any major access problems. It's a fantastic location. There's a multiplicity of things you can do. Access is not a problem. And the weather generally is a little bit better in Kerry, we think, than anywhere else. So the great outdoors is a big, big part of our delivery platform as well. We like to get people out and about as much as we possibly can. So what else do we want to do? We want to get people close to the industry. We want people to lean in. We want you to develop this production crew skill set. We want you to understand the creative process. It mightn't be your thing. It could be technical, but you got to understand the creative process. And it is a process and a discipline. Develop the maker mindset. Work in teams, develop your professional brand, which is very important, or your professional persona. We want people to seek production credits, get on location. We want them to connect. We want them to collaborate and create, all those things. And really about finding your tribe. Media people are a very particular type, and they like spending time with other makers. So in Kerry, we've got a little creative community, little technical tribe there, and it's where you can find people that are like you, which is most important, people that are striving to tell their story, be heard, make something that's notable. We also really want people to try things out, experiment, make pilots and prototypes. Cross-course collabs are very important to us, and we'll hear more from our instruction team about that. Support one another at a human level, fail together, struggle together, overcome together, win, and then go again. So this is sort of the ethos behind a lot of the stuff that we do. And we think we've had, lots of people that have come to Kerry over the years on all of our courses, and they've had life-changing years in Kerry. The courses are short, they're very intense, they're very practical, and they do change the way you look at things, and they really amplify your skills and your abilities, really, we find. Because you're part of our creative community, part of our creative campus, technical tribe, you get out and about, and you spend time with people that want to make stuff. So it's what it's all about. So what do we focus on? Really briefly, we focus on the experience. We don't just call it a course. It is a course, and we run courses, but we try to focus more on the experience. So it's the course is one part of the overall experience. So we're kind of obsessed with that. We want you to have a great time here in Kerry, and it's broader than just getting a qualification and doing a course. We focus on skills, competence, confidence, building that for you, on openness, on synergy, and making it real. Making it real is what it's all about, because you're not going to be able to make that jump until we make it real for you. Learn by doing, learning in a creative studio environment, a production studio environment, on location, and on assignment for employers as well, where you really learn. You'll learn your related theory, you'll put it into practice, you'll solve problems, you'll deliver, and all that stuff. And again, look, before I finish up, and I'm going to finish up shortly, if you want to make something when you're with us, ask us. We have the facility, we have the expertise, we have the people, we have the equipment, we have the, the hinterland where you can make things. So just ask, talk it through with us. This year is about your potential. You captain your own ship. You make it happen. This is about you. So we can help and guide you. We have time for people. It's a big part of what we do. You have time for you, and we have time for you as well. So that's sort of the ethos. Before we forget, though, before I hand you over to our delivery team, our courses are 100% free. People say this to us all the time. What does that mean? Like, how are they free? They're not free to us. We have to pay an awful lot of money to deliver these programs, but to you, they're free. There's no catch, right? So this is state-funded training, and there's zero registration fees, there's zero tuition fees, there's zero exam fees. We constantly meet graduates, and they say, "Oh man, thankfully, I don't have to pay another X amount of money to study." So yeah, there's a total break on that. Absolutely zero in terms of fees, and there are no hidden costs there. Plus, there's learner payments as well, which means that some of you will be able to qualify for a learner payment. But that's a conversation you can have with our admissions office offline, and it varies for everybody. There are limited places, may as well tell you that. We take in no more than 18 per course. And for the content development for film and television, the new screenwriting program, it's going to be 12. So, and there's no move on that. So it'll be 12 people on that. It's an 18 max for all the others, and it won't be more. So it genuinely is about limited places. The recruitment piece, it's always by interview. So we want to meet you. We want to meet you face to face. We do a lot of Zoom interviews now. They're fine, but we want to meet you face to face. Come into the campus, sit down, meet our admissions team, meet our course instructor, and have a conversation about what you want. They'll happen in August 2023 into September 23. You can apply now for any of the courses, and we will call you when the interviews start. Quick couple of things before we finish. Portfolios really help us and you. So they'll allow you to show what you can do. And it doesn't matter what level you've done stuff. It doesn't matter. We'd like to see what you've been trying to make. And they also help us make a decision as well and help you out. So if you're interested in applying, start compiling stuff that you've done. We'd like to see at least some evidence that you want to make, you want to write, you want to make visual communications, design, audio. It doesn't matter. Quality is not that important, but we do need to see intention. Always know our entry criteria. So they're on the website, they're on the course pages. Know what we're looking for at the very basic level. Know about that when you come to meet us, and also know what you want to get out of the course. Very important. So just know, when you come into us, have some semblance of a plan in your head, know where you want to go, and know where you think we can help you. That's fierce important, okay? So that's sort of the ethos. That's what we're about. But I hand you over now to our programs team. And I guess, first off, I'd like to invite in Brian Nolan. Brian is a very experienced instructor and producer, and he runs the Broadcast Production Skills Program. It's a long-running course, and it starts again in October. So Brian, I'll hand it over to you to talk about the 5 slides about your course. I know it's tough, but I think you can do it.
Thanks, John. And wow, you come from radio, that's for sure. You crammed a lot in there. So and thanks for the challenge of trying to distill kind of 35 years of training development into 5 slides. So we'll give it a shot. So good evening to everybody. Thank you for joining us and giving us your time. If you want to jump onto the first slide there, John, please. There we go. Course structure. So again, I was just chatting with some colleagues, and we're talking about kind of the change or the evolution and where things have gone in Ireland from a training perspective. And when this course, not started by me 36 years ago, there was a handful of courses. You kind of knew what was good, what was bad, and what was indifferent. Now there are so many choices. Every county has multiple media courses. It's impossible to really, unless you do your homework, unless you contact people, dig in at the highest level in terms of advertising, even what I'm going to talk about now, this first slide, you're going to say, oh, this is the same as everything else. And when you look at perspectives, when you looked at advertising, it'll say, an awarding body will say something. But all courses are not the same. All training experiences are not the same. And as I say, we think we have something unique down here, but wherever you go, you know, dig deep into, talk to the heads of department, talk to instructors, lecturers, teachers, and people have come, alumni have come off the course as well. So the course is broken down. This is a foundation course, but with a deep dive. So in terms of the structure, I've broken it down into pre-production, production, and post-production. And if you have done any of the course, you'll know these words. Pre-production is your planning, you know, your budgeting, your scheduling, the first paperwork that you're going to do. Production, the acquisition of audiovisual elements, and then post-production, the repair, enhancement, embellishment, distribution of those elements. So far the same. Everybody kind of follows the same structure, but I think we deep dive into this, into knowledge, and I'll talk about in the next slide where that knowledge and what the level of the knowledge I'm trying to give people. Go back one, John, for 1 second. Nearly there. Sorry. So just a few things about the course. We were the first Apple authorized training center in education, the first Blackmagic training center in education in Ireland. We're affiliated to Avid, and we're affiliated to Adobe as well. One thing for me though, which isn't that isn't that sexy of a conversation in terms of the topic, is health and safety. We have industry tickets, which HODs, head of departments, tell me so many times that when they see CVs coming in for trainee positions, and they see the tickets that, well, they know it's my course. So we do things in terms of, we work with BEC2. We have an exclusive deal with BEC2, the English Entertainment Union, for their CRISP, their Creative Industry Safety Passport, recognized by IOSH, or affiliated IOSH, recognized by Sky, BBC, Channel 4. We do first aid. Everybody comes out of first aid responder. We do Safe Pass, electrical safety, a lot of industry tickets, which differentiate you from a student or anybody else when they get a CV in, which may name a camera or a bit of software. The people who come through from us have industry tickets that the HODs, the line producers that you're getting work from, hopefully know that you're safe. You're safe on set. You're not going to be tripping over cables or picking up open cases, that you have a really good knowledge of health and safety. As I say, you know, it's something that a lot of people don't think about, but personally, I think it's a great part to the course, and for industry confidence, it's great. Next slide, please, John. So people kind of say to me, well, what do I come out of this course? What are you trying to do for your trainees, your learners? And I say to them, I'm trying to make you an expert. I'm trying to make you an expert in the film and TV industry. And I kind of get a laugh. I get funny looks. And I kind of define what, in this terminology, I'm trying to get across. The expert to me is somebody who knows what they don't know. Somebody who knows what they don't know. And it's all about self-awareness of your knowledge or your level of knowledge. If anybody contacts me after this call or rings me about a bit more advice about the course, I can within give me 6 questions, I'll know exactly where you're at in terms of any department, you know, whether it be pre-production, production, post-production, just from a few very precise questions. So learning has changed. You know, in terms of information, it's at our fingertips. You know, it's there for us. You don't need to know everything, but you need to know certain topics, certain, you know, concepts, and be able to work with that. For example, in the camera department, I'll use this example because it makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about. You know, if you were on a set and somebody said to you, we're working with the Arri Alexa LF camera, would you know what the mid-grade point on an IRE scale is for ISO 1200? Well, nobody's going to know that straight away. All that jargon in there, that foundation knowledge should be in one of my trainees, my learners. They go to the app, they go to a website, and they make themselves the expert straight away. There's a small little jump up there. So it's about, as I say, you know, getting a confidence and a competence to get you to a trainee level, a level that you can walk on set and feel like you belong. Jump on there, John. Okay, I think I swapped around there. That's okay. We'll go with this one. I was going to go with the one next, but the Dawn. 10 years ago, I was very lucky to, or fortunate to meet some people, and we set up an industry initiative called the Dawn Workshops, very kindly sponsored by Kerry College. And the Dawn is kind of a bonus for the learners on my course. The Dawn Workshops, as I say, we're running 10 years. You know, you hear the term masterclass, you hear the term world class. I'm very proud of the last 10 years of what we've achieved at the Dawn, and all the trainees get access to not only industry professionals coming down to work on these industry masterclasses, but work at some legends from all around the world. Again, I could spend an hour talking about the Dawn. You can check out the Facebook page, the Dawn Workshops, and see all the people we've brought over that the trainees, learners on our courses have access to. Mark Ulano, Oscar winner for Titanic on the sound team. He's Quentin Tarantino's sound man. We ran the Warner Brothers course recently. First time it was run out of Hollywood. We've had Roberto Schaefer, cinematographer on Quentin. I could go on and go on and go on. So the Dawn is a unique bonus for people attending Kerry College. Next one down, John. Yeah, that's the one I thought was before. Sorry, that's grand. Opening doors. This is going to get asked all the time. How do I get into the industry? And this has kind of gone down an urban legend. About many years ago in Dublin at a now defunct training center, there was a seminar, and a whole industry panel were up top talking about how to get into the industry. And every one of them said the same thing: keep knocking on doors, keep knocking on doors, keep knocking on doors. And somebody at the back said, excuse me, where are the effing doors? And there are no doors. It's a metaphor. People getting, networking, meeting people open these doors. And I think we've been opening doors for the last 35 years for people. It's about getting, I've seen so many careers flourish, take off by getting them mentored, getting them under the wing of somebody, HOD, a line producer, UPM. Yeah, as I say, this is one of our key selling points. Thank you, John. And finally, people thought this was a mistake leaving a question mark in here. This part of the question mark of the slide is every year I get to start a new adventure with X number of people. And I'm very lucky in the flexibility that Kerry College gives me to make this course as industry ready, as flexible as possible. And some trainees or learners who've come off other courses are looking for timetables, are looking for a very structured approach. And the gentleman that started this course 35 years ago always said that we really are a production facility that trains. And I try to follow that ethos in terms of getting industry in as much as possible. We have, this year is going to be finishing up with 2 TV shows and a feature film, a TV show that's shooting in our studio, a TV show that's shooting in Galway, and then a feature, an Irish-English co-production happening in, is that my time up, John, is it?
It actually just happened all by itself, Brian.
Yeah,
I don't know why. No, keep going. No,
I thought the shutters were coming down.
Not at all. Not at all.
So the fast part is, as I say, I'm very lucky. We can turn on a dime in terms of and I love the phone calls coming in over the years. I don't know what's going to happen for the next group. The phone calls, the opportunities, it's just great. It freaks people out in terms of, okay, lads, we're pausing our learning for the moment. There's a gig coming in. We're going to work on that, or I have a guest speaker coming in. And it's like the industry. The industry chops and changes all the time. You know, production stop all the time. So so that's it. As I say, it's very hard to encapsulate all that we do and the experience that we've created over the last number of years. And I would say to you, if you're interested, give us a shout, contact us. You know, I think really, you know, we don't just go, come on, come down. We want to make sure you're right for us and we're right for you. And a conversation, you know, I'm on a board in Screen Ireland. So, you know, if I feel that, you know, going again for another 12 months is not right for you, and maybe a short course or a bit of advice, we're there. The advice is free. Send me an email. We'd love to chat. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you for that. Now, without further ado, let's move to course 2 and Jared Barrett, who is the lead instructor of the Content Development for Film and Television course, an all-new program unique to Kerry College, which is launching this September. Jared.
Hi, John. How are you? Hello, everybody, and good evening to everybody. So I just want to talk about this course, which came my way a couple of years ago when I got the opportunity to develop this with Kerry College, and I was more than excited to do that because Kerry College has been part of my journey along the way as well, and I truly believe that it's a real fabulous institution to learn the hands-on skills that are needed for the film and TV industry and across media in a sense. So this course was designed really from my own experience and starting out in the industry. This is exactly what I would have wanted really when I was starting out as a writer-director in film and television and animation. And, you know, I really wanted someplace to go to really understand screenplays and stories and how do I bring that to life across film, TV, animation, even documentaries. So this course has been developed really with the guidance and the experience of graduates from the New York Film Academy and the AFI school, Film School in Los Angeles, both of which are the #1 and 2 film schools in the world. So the guys that from Ireland who were on those programs have kindly given their time to the development of this course and have really given us the ammunition to really kind of create a wonderful learning experience that is coming from the highest standard of screenplay writing in the film and TV sector. Also, both of these fine individuals, both Irish guys, are going to be contributing to the learning on the course. They will be doing some one-on-one tuition with the learners and the students and working on their projects. So the goal here is to bring the international standard to this course. That's really important. I think the world is much smaller now and the film and TV industry is actually much smaller now, and Ireland really is in the middle of the world in a sense. It's in the middle of the world in terms of the film and TV industry as well. So that's really important that we can bring that international standard to the creative elements of the screenplay writing and directing and so forth. So the goal of the course really is, for me, it was about creating a safe haven, a safe place for creatives to want to really excel in screenwriting for film and TV. That also means a versatile approach. It's film, it's television, it's documentary as well. So story is story. At the end of the day, John, if you can move on to the next slide. This entire program, for me, this course is really about story. It's not alone about the story on the page and what you're going to be writing and developing and creating. It's also about your story and how we can bring that out of you and, you know, where you want to go. We want to guide you where you want to go. We also want to guide your creativity and your storytelling. We want to figure out exactly where does your story belong. Does it belong as a film? Does it belong as a TV, as a television show? Does it belong as a documentary? Does it belong even as an audio project? Can it start there and then can it become a television project? So we want to give people a real kind of rounding approach to storytelling. Next slide, please, John. So we're going to be taking a real strong approach to this creative technical skills of storytelling, especially for film and television screenplays. So we're going to have overall story selection for film and TV. That's really important. Let's find your story and what's the story you want to tell. Does that story come from an external source or does that story come from you internally? So it's about finding that story because that's really important. Then it's about research and development. Then we're going to dive into writing action, writing dialogue, understanding how to rewrite a screenplay. How do we improve your story and make it better? Then what's really important, it's about implementing industry notes from producers and executives. So you're going to be bouncing off producers from the industry, bouncing off development executives from the industry. I will be bringing them through the classroom and you will be hitting off them and they will be telling you brutally honest truths and really intense notes that will overall help your story. We're also going to be diving into the adaptation of novels and short stories. We're also going to be diving into the fundamentals of television pilots and fundamentals of writing for animation and writing for commercials. So we're going to be going all the way across those genres of storytelling. What's part of that too also is we're going to have industry standard writing software, Final Draft. We're going to really focus on learning the skills to using this software because that is fundamental to storytelling in film and television, just purely from a practical perspective. A creative technical skills understanding also is hugely important of documentary features and documentary TV's projects. The documentary now has become such a popular source of content for the entire world. Just look at Netflix. Most of the time, their top projects are feature documentaries. So we're going to deep dive into that. Also, we're going to deep dive into entertainment series as well, because they're a form of a documentary, but obviously told much longer over a longer period of time. So we're going to have quite a few documentary producers coming in and out through the course. Michael Lynch from Cork, he would have done Cheap Irish Houses and Cheap European Houses. So he's going to be working on helping you along and kind of bringing your skills through that as well. And then we're also going to be working on, John, if you want to step back one more there, directing for screenwriters. This for me is a really important module on the program, because I really think that if you understand how you want your project directed and how directing works, I really believe it allows you to approach your script, whether that's for film or television or documentary, in a completely different approach. It allows you actually zone in on the wording of each word and each action. So that for me is really important as well. So that module is going to be fantastic. And obviously I'm a director working in the industry at the minute. I'm going to be heavily involved in that module as well, but I will be bringing a lot of directors that I work with in film and television and documentary and animation too into that module as well. The learning process of what we're going to do here is it's really 50% theory in class with instructors, guest lecturers and tutors. But then it's going to be 50% creative practice in a studio environment at Kerry College, which is fabulous facilities. So in the creative practice phase of this course over the year, you really are in the industry. You're going to be meeting so many industry people, whether they're producers, development executives, directors, screenwriters. You're going to be bouncing off people that are making projects that you have that are in the cinema right now, that are on television right now, that are streaming right now. So you are going to be in the industry. So you need to be really ready for it at that stage. So the 50% theory of our course and program is very much going to be getting you ready for that. So it's going to be intense. An example of talent that will be coming in, spending time with the people in the classroom, will be Pat Short. He's a wonderful director, writer, producer. He's everything in a sense. So Pat is actually going to be working with the learners and the students in class, and he's actually looking for a project. You have a chance here to pitch to him. You have a chance here for him to read your screenplay, to get notes and thoughts from him. But you also have the chance that he might actually sign on to do your project. And if Pat signs on to do your project, that opens a conversation with Screen Ireland and many other funding opportunities. In documentary, obviously Michael Lynch is going to be involved. As I said, Cheap Irish Houses, Cheap European Homes. So if you have documentary ideas and entertainment series ideas, Michael's going to work with you guys as well. Obviously, Anya Moriarty, the CEO of IFTA, the Irish Film and Television Academy, is a huge supporter of this program as well. So Anya is going to be in and out as well. So, you have access to people that are making decisions in the industry and that can pick up the phone for you and can open a door for you. So that's the goal. The goal is to get you to the door, get you in. After that, it's a kind of up to you and to take what you've learned with us. So just finally, to wrap things up, creative practice is a huge part of this. Learning is a huge part of this, and zoning in on the creative approach to how you want to tell your story is really huge. And that is, like John said earlier, we want to obviously work in the classroom, but we also want to take the learning outside of the classroom also for inspiration. And we want you to really find your stories and find your way to tell your stories. So portfolio is going to be enormous for this program. But when you leave this course, I want you to leave with scripts. I want you to leave with feature scripts. I want you to leave with short film scripts. I want you to leave with TV pilots. I want you to leave with documentary ideas. I literally want you armed and ready to hit the industry with projects that are fully developed, that are ready to be sold or pitched to broadcasters or producers or streamers. That's the goal of this. And I just want to thank everybody at Kerry College who gave me the opportunity to really put this course together and have the confidence in me to deliver what I would have wanted when I was starting out. Like I said, Kerry College was on my journey. It was fabulous. It gave me the skills I needed to at the time to get to where I wanted to go. And for me now to be able to build this out with the help of everybody at Kerry College is a dream come true. So like John said, I'm looking for 12 wonderful people, 12 collaborators, 12 artists, 12 storytellers to come together for a year and really make some magic. That's the goal. So thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, I'm here. And as Brian said, pick up the phone. Your message will get to me. I will get back to you. I will talk to you. So thank you everybody for your time, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ger. And just to say, we're delighted to have you back with us at Kerry College, having been I suppose, an alumni and a graduate of our program many, many years ago. It's wonderful to have you back in and actively developing content with us. We're very excited about it. So thank you for your kind words. Okay, now let's move on. Digital content production is a huge growth area. And we've been well ahead of the curve for more years than we care to remember. Jim Toomey leads this new iteration of our digital content producer program. And he's going to talk to you now about the program, but also about how you can make it and how you can get some traction for yourself in this sector. Jim.
Thanks, John. Yeah, just before I start, I think I just want to reference something that was said earlier on as well. And that is, I think it's really helpful when you're thinking about any of the courses to consider them more in terms of them being a job rather than a course, because that's very much the environment that we operate in. Yeah, absolutely. You're given instruction. You know, you're mentored, you're guided, but it's very much an active space, and you're very much an active participant in this experience. So when you come on any of these courses, you're very much entering a production environment. So I'm here to talk to you about the digital content producer course. And the digital content producer course does what it says on the tin, and insofar as that our focus is very much on producing content, and a vast array of content. The content that we produce, it focuses very much on marketing and advertising, just right across the board. In terms of what content we focus on, there's photographic content, there's digital video, digital sound, digital imaging and design, digital publishing, and also, there is a strong emphasis on media project management that underpins all of this. Within each of those areas, within photography, let's say, we cover product photography, photo documentary. So we learn how to tell stories using photography. You learn how to cover events and public relations photography, portrait photography. And all of this is, as previously said, is in an in-house studio environment, but also outside studio environmental space. Equally with video, again, as Brian referenced already, everything we do, how we operate, mirrors how media production operates in the industry, insofar as that our structure is very much based upon the pre-production, production, and post-production module. Our model. So yeah, where video is concerned, yeah, we make product video advertisements, corporate promotional videos, short video documentaries, and also we explore mobile journalism using mobile technology. So for each of the content areas, each in and of its own right is really diverse. There's very much a balance in terms of how we train. It's very much grounded in project work, in terms of there is an underpinning theory element to it, but that balance really is kind of 70-30. Our focus is very much on developing those practical skills and creating content that evidences those skills, and developing confidence in your ability to create while you're doing all that. And that's the thing that really is transformative. That is the thing that really sets people apart. It is the evidence of those skills. And where the evidence is concerned, the projects work that we undertake is very much real world project work. So the projects that we undertake are focused on providing marketing collateral for startup companies and enterprises. We do a lot of work for community-based and non-profit making organizations, government agencies, NGOs, voluntary sector. While developing these projects, there's also kind of very much a space for kind of tailoring these projects to your own specific need, given that it is essentially a multimedia course that has a broad variety of media that you will learn how to produce, people ultimately carry that experience in a whole variety of different directions. So we also create spec content. By that I mean that what we do is provide people with the opportunity of creating content that is really tailored to a personal area of interest. Well, in truth, it really is a personal area of opportunity, that people would see an opportunity in a specific area, and then they have the opportunity of focusing on developing content that allows them to target that area because it's more specific to their needs. I can share a link with you later on. It's just a very simple portfolio link. If you just wanted to kind of get a better appreciation for the nature of the content, but also the level of quality of the production, it's a link that we can share later on. It's a Behance link. It's behance.net/digital skills. But we'll share that maybe in the chat later on. So yeah, so John spoke earlier about who should apply. This information is very much available on the website. We do have an ideal profile that we're looking for, and that's very much driven by the needs of the industry, because the industry are looking for specific kind of people. Broadly, 23 to 33 years of age, kind of within that age bracket is ideal. Again, these courses are targeted very much at third level graduates. So you are people that have already invested hugely in creating a pathway for yourself in a career in media. So media graduates are ready, locked and loaded to hit the ground running. As John said, sometimes, not always, but sometimes there is a deficit. My experience is that media graduates very often come with a strong level of skill, but maybe they haven't had the opportunity to ground that skill in projects that would be industry relevant, and to get the opportunity of developing that portfolio of content that really they can use as a crowbar to get them to where they want to go. As John said, we expect you to have some previous experience in media production. Now, we're not overly concerned about the quality of that, but what we definitely are focused on is that your willingness to pursue media as a career is grounded in reality. That you have an understanding of the broad understanding and knowledge of the media industry beyond I'd like to work in media. Definitely our focus is very much on who you are as a person, like what your level of focus is, what your appetite for moving on is, and what your level of intention is. Are you intent on making something of this amazing opportunity? And yeah, that you're committed to work, because as an organization, that's who we are. We're all about providing you with every opportunity to bridge to work. And by work, I mean sustainable employment. That is, doing what you love to do and getting paid for it, and getting paid properly for it. You definitely need to be flexible. You absolutely need to be open to change. And the other reality is that you need to be flexible enough to relocate to where the work is also. You need to be mobile and have the ability to do that. And definitely also you need to be mobile insofar as that you really need to be able to drive. You absolutely need to be able to drive. So certainly, as John said, like within the digital content production space, the opportunities truly have exploded over the last couple of years. In actual fact, bizarre as it may sound, the whole COVID situation opened up incredible opportunities, because all of a sudden businesses who may have been reluctant to before invest in an online presence, or maybe that the quality that they had, the quality of the online presence they had wasn't quite what it needed to be. All of a sudden they were all in because they were totally dependent on it. There's some really incredible job opportunities out there at the moment for content producers. And yes, absolutely, in the media sector, like within the media sector, people are finding jobs in production houses and marketing and advertising agencies. But in truth, at the moment, there's probably more opportunities in the non-media industry. And over the last couple of years, there have been companies that have hired 3, 4, 5 people that have come from the course because they have their own in-house production departments. Equally, the opportunities for self-employment are very significant as well. So people, as John said, now certainly within the whole mobile technology space, it really has democratized media, and quite a lot of people are ruling the world from their own kitchen. So yeah, so just to maybe just to wind up, it's just to reinforce the fact that this digital content production course, like, it's all about making. So we make. And the focus while making is to make stuff that matters to you, but also that matters to the industry, because they need to be attracted to you. Ultimately, the best case scenario for us is that you will find that job that is perfect for you, that you'll be prepared for it and equipped for it in every way, because you deserve it. Absolutely, because you deserve it. Okay, that's all I have, John.
Okay, Jim, thank you for that. Thank you very much.
No problem.
And now finally, digital journalism, podcasting and radio. This used to be just radio, and I was involved in this course way back in 2005 and developed it originally. And now it's in the very steady hands of Joe McGill and Connie Broderick, who work with Radio Kerry, but also work on a host of other projects outside of Radio Kerry, and have a long history of being involved in the broadcast sector in Ireland. It's all about digital journalism now, and podcasting, and also radio, but audio is still very much alive, and has never been a more exciting place to work. So Connie and Joe, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, John. I'd like to take the time to thank everyone for attending the webinar this evening. As John mentioned there, audio is probably in the best place it's ever been in the last number of years. With our course, and if we go through the slides there, one of the first headings we have here is hands-on. So the digital journalism, podcasting and radio course is a hands-on learning and training. It gives students the opportunity to experience real-world situations. So as John mentioned earlier on, the training is studio-based with a large number of hours spent in a commercial radio station, Radio Kerry. There's a considerable amount of production on the course, and this time will both be in a studio setting, but it will also be on location. This could be out news reporting, documentary making. It could be just something like recording vox pops for live shows like Kerry Today, or Talk About with Deirdre Walsh on Radio Kerry. So immediately you get in, you get to work in an environment that is fast-paced. There's a quick turnover, and we really want people who are creative, that have no inhibition of talking to a microphone. You'll receive access to digital audio software, hand recorders. You'll have access to both the radio studios in Kerry College and in Radio Kerry, which has its own training centre. And we believe this hands-on element is a great way to quickly gain new skills. John, you can move on to the next one there, and Joe will talk to you about producing content.
Thanks, Connie. Thanks, John. So yeah, as Connie mentioned, it's very much hands-on. So we believe in, when you leave this, as John said earlier, that you'll have a portfolio of work when you leave it. So you'll actually be producing, I suppose, tangible content. So for instance, students make short feature pieces, and these pieces go on to be entered in the National Radio Awards, the IMROs, and we've done quite well there over the last few years as well. You'll be producing radio ads, making demos. You'll come out of it with an actual demo that you can use to pursue your career. We'll have mobile journalism tasks, where you'll go in, you'll produce content for online and digital. You'll also be making news packages. You'll be making your own podcast. Connie mentioned the live studios, both in Radio Kerry, in the training centre, but also in Kerry College, the state-of-the-art studios. The studios there are industry standard studios. So when you'll be able to use them in Kerry College or Radio Kerry, you'll be able to use them throughout the radio industry. So it's very much that live studio feel you'll get. So we have our own online radio station, and as part of that we'll be producing a schedule where you'll have your own program. You could be a producer, you could be an editor, you could be a researcher, you could be an actual presenter as well, depending on what you'll get into and what you'll enjoy doing. Then we can go on to the next slide, Connie, because I know you want to talk more in relation to
so the one-to-one mentoring. I suppose this allows us to kind of help you growth and development by myself and Joe providing guidance and support. But it's not just myself and Joe. You know, Joe mentioned there Radio Kerry, and there's a team at Radio Kerry. So like you have everything from the newsroom to production to sports to social to traffic. And you get the chance to meet everybody. You get to go into these working environments, and you get to talk to the people who are working day to day in a commercial radio station. You get to see what their job is like. You get to see how fast paced, as I mentioned earlier on, it is. Myself and Joe are both experienced radio producers, and we would help students be a guide for students throughout the year. You know, but it is again through learning and practical work, and there's a huge emphasis on practical work. But by doing the practical work, we will help develop your skills, and we'll be able to recognize your area of interest. So like it could be sports, it could be news, production, social, podcasting, presenting. Joe presents a show on a Saturday morning there, a Saturday supplement, or it could be documentary making, something myself and Joe have been doing for the last 10 to 12 years. You can move on to the next slide there.
So just following on from what Connie said, it is very much a real world experience because of, I suppose, the Radio Kerry element. And also we'll be in the line of my program, the Saturday supplement. I've often had students produce pieces for that program, which is they get an on-air credit then as well, which is brilliant for the CV. Connie mentioned the shadowing as well. That's very much an element that we offer in the course as well, where you get to sit in a program, or you know, if you're into sports, you get to sit with that sports presenter. Work experience is a huge part of this as well, in the line of at the end, towards the end of the course, you get 12 weeks work experience in an industry placement. And that can be anything radio related, digital podcasting, so it's very much so that you hit the ground running after you finish. And again, that's in the real world. What you've learned in the course, you apply then in the real world. So it's very much part of that. You will be working to deadlines, so you will be getting used of, I suppose, that live producing live radio or producing content. So you'll be getting that experience as well. I suppose very much as well. It improves your communication skills, improves your creativity, all those other things as well. Digital marketing is becoming a huge sector as well, and we'll very much improve that aspect for you as well. Radio Kerry have just in the last year, they've hired one of our past students by a friend who's a digital content producer for Radio Kerry, and they are increasing those roles. So that's something very much we're concentrating on as well. But that leads us on to the next slide of being ready.
So as Joe said, they're industry ready. You know, the course, it has a qualification, but what we really believe in is making sure that when you go out the door at the end of the 12 months, that you can walk into a radio station in Radio Kerry and fulfill a number of different roles, whether that be in the newsroom, whether it be in production, and be able to work independently, but also be able to work as part of a team. The training that you will be provided with will give you an understanding and skills to work in the media industry. And the course will explore if your interest lies in audio, radio, podcasting, and exactly where your interest lies. As we mentioned before, you get the opportunity to train with radio production teams and live shows. You get the opportunity as well, when we're in Radio Kerry, to run your own radio station. So Radio Kerry have an online radio station, which is broadcast from the training studio in Radio Kerry. And when I talk about the training studio in Radio Kerry, it's on the ground floor, and it's a completely side of Radio Kerry that we have on our own. So we have 2 training rooms. We have a training studio, which mirrors the training studios upstairs. We have our own canteen and everything. And it really gives you the kind of experience of what a radio station is like. But you'll run that radio station, you'll manage it, you will fill roles like production, you'll fill roles of news, sport, presenters, everything to promote it on social media. As Joe mentioned earlier, you'll gain experience and create a portfolio of work for employers by undertaking projects that will be broadcast on Radio Kerry. And also we create projects for the SMEDIAs, Student Media Awards, and the IMROs, which are the Irish Radio Awards. And the course has been quite successful in terms of both awards. So it's something we like to kind of continue. Just before we leave the industry ready, while this course is a 52-week course, 40 weeks take place, we'll say, in a classroom setting. Now, as we said, it's very much studio-based training, but of that 40 weeks, we split our time between Radio Kerry and Kerry College. And that can be anything up to 20 weeks in Radio Kerry, 20 weeks in Kerry College, or it could be 30 weeks in Kerry College, 10 weeks in Radio Kerry. It's projects that kind of see us go from one to the other. So we spend quite a bit of time in Radio Kerry when we're working on pieces for the IMROs. We also spend quite a bit of time in Radio Kerry when we're presenting Z103. There is a course for anyone who's interested as well as an introduction to the 52-week course. So if you're thinking tonight, this course might be for me, but I'm not 100% sure I could commit just yet. Well, there is an introduction to radio podcasting, and those details are up on the Kerry College website. And that's an 8-week course. And it's kind of a feeder into the 52-week course. And it gives you an idea of what you will learn from the year. And obviously, as we go forward, you'll learn a lot more in detail over the course of the year. John, that's it.
That's great. Thank you to Joe and to Connie for that. And actually, while you guys are on, we've a load of questions offline that have been sent to us, but also a number that have been sent in through the Q&A button as well. Thanks, guys, for that. I'm replying to a question here at the minute as I'm listening to you. Question for Joe and Connie in relation to the digital journalism, podcasting and radio course. This is from Cian. What is the split between working in Radio Kerry and being at the Kerry College studio?
So, Cian, the split there would be, again, as I mentioned there a few minutes ago, it can be dictated in terms of projects. It's very much hands-on, like I mentioned at the very beginning, and we undertake a lot of projects, but we do quite a lot of work for Radio Kerry in terms of, a number of the shows will ask students to make packages, from pitch IDs for packages to help work in the sports, maybe do some desktoping. So we'll say, take this year, for instance, it's probably been split 20 weeks in Radio Kerry, 20 weeks in Kerry College, but no year is the same. But we will spend a substantial amount of time in both places. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, that's really good. Kieran McAuliffe, regarding the digital journalism, podcasting, and radio production, would you advise for someone, to be able to work part-time during the course, or would you have to be fully dedicated? Now, what Kieran is saying is, would you have to be unemployed? But I guess the question there is that, could you mix it up with some part-time work? Or do you want full 100% commitment? A tricky question, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tricky question, yeah.
Go on, Connie.
Yeah, so no,
you could have that. You could have that one.
Yeah, we've had students, who have obviously, held part-time work while they're doing the course, and of course, we understand, it's adult education. We understand the real world scenarios where people may need to work if they can't get training payments and stuff like that. But that's no problem at all, as long as when you're in the class, you're engaged. You're engaged when you're in the class. You're there on time, you turn up, you consistently turn up, and you're consistent in your, like Joe said there, your delivery of deadlines, that we give you read material, but you have an interest yourself and you do further reading. It's just, it can work side by side, but when you're in there, that you're engaged and you meet all the deadlines, that's kind of key, Kieran. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll know pretty quickly if you're serious anyway, Kieran. A lot of it is, we know it in a month to 6 weeks if someone is really interested or not, because they're you can see they're not applying themselves. But yeah, so we need people to apply themselves very much, because it's a massive opportunity. Brian will often say to us, Brian Nolan, his experience in the past is some people have finished 12 months here on campus with us and they say, I'd love to do it again. I thought I could have tried harder. Sorry, there's no chance to do it again. You get one go and that's it. There's a number of other questions coming in. Ger, can I sort of pivot to you there? Anonymous attendee, we don't have the name of this person, but they're very interested in writing, that also really like to film and create pieces to get that experience. So I guess the directing piece and the production piece. He's been in contact with Brian Nolan, but just hearing now about Jared's new course. You'd like to find out which course might be more suited. So interested in writing, but also wants to film and make stuff. So I suppose that's a question that, I suppose is led towards Ger, but maybe Brian could jump in as well. We might start with you, Ger.
Hi, John. I've actually replied to a few of these, but
Okay.
I haven't privately in the chat. So if you have questions for content development, film and television, bang the questions into the Q&A now, and I will get back to you straight away. In terms of that question, it's a great question, because I would suggest getting in contact with me and Brian, and me and Brian can have a chat offline and kind of suggest which route you should go down, because Brian, I think that would be a good solution to that
Absolutely, Joe.
person's question.
I can't see the person's name. It says anonymous, so I don't know who it is, but I've been a few people have been in contact with me. Yeah, absolutely. It really depends where their heart is at. Mine is a really technical course. We deep dive into cameras, we deep dive into editing, and obviously, we try and hold a holistic approach to everything to give that learner the whole approach. But if writing is their passion, they might be a little bit. We do a bit of script writing on the course, but not a lot. As I said, it's a technical course. But yeah, if the person makes contact with us, we can have a chat and yeah, we can talk through it and see what's the best fit for the person.
That's great.
I agree, Brian. I think that an answer can be found for their situation, 100%.
Two quick questions there. I can deal with really briefly. Jared, you've dealt with it, but it's a bigger point. Final Draft, that specialist software for screenwriting, there's lots of different packages available, but Final Draft is the industry standard, a bit like Blackmagic is an industry standard as well from Brian's side of the house. Is that provided? 100% yes, it is. We have a license that not only allows us you to work in class when you're with Ger and the delivery team there, but also we have an additional license that you can use on your own device while you're with us on the course. So we know how it works. Your writing will not take place when you're with us all the time. Some of it will, but you need to be able to write as well when you're at home. So we have a multi-user license for all of the people on the content development course, and it's free. We've paid for it and organized it so you can have it. So we don't have any roadblocks in the way of you being creative. So that's the answer to that. But it's not just that course. You'll find that right across all of our programs, we remove all of the usual roadblocks to you making stuff. So software is all provided, but not only basic stuff, it's up to the minute software. You get the latest versions of everything. The equipment is all really up to date and constantly refreshed. So, again, that's a big part of what we do. You're coming in to train in an industry standard environment. We don't have any roadblocks in terms of, we don't have that, or we don't have that software, or we can't get that bit of gear, can't get that bit of technology. We get it. If you want it, if you need it, we'll get it for you. It's fierce important. So I suppose that speaks to a different point. The other one is the age. So we've had a couple of questions offline about the age. We have one coming in here as well, which has been dealt with. If somebody coming out of school too young, typically yes, unless the person coming out of school has side by side with their second level experience, quite a bit of media experience. So that's the only proviso I'd say there. If they've been doing a lot of stuff on the side and they get it and they're really aware. We've had very young people in the past that have done brilliantly, but they've been exceptionally plugged in to the sector they want to get into. They've been exceptionally ahead. I remember I met a guy when he was 17 out of school, did his leaving cert, unbelievably knowledgeable about radio. And he's now working in the UK. And he worked in Radio Kerry for a while, but has now gone to the UK. That's where he wanted to go. He wanted to work in UK radio. So he's doing that. But I remember meeting at 17, thinking this guy is way ahead. He's so obsessed with audio and radio. So if you're that type of person, well, absolutely talk to you. But as a sort of I'm just finished school, I want to suss out what I want to do, not so much. You need to really have a strong idea of where you want to be before you come to us, which is why it's better for graduates. Would any of the delivery team want to chip in on that maybe? Jim, do you want to come in on that, or Brian?
Yeah, John, just to say, just what you said a moment ago about, going around the merry-go-round once and being here once. And I agree completely. I have taken young people on, and, it's back to what I said about learning and becoming self-aware and becoming, your own critic about how hard you should be working on things. I'm not saying to come out of school not knowing how to learn, but I love people who maybe go off, do another course, make sure it's for them, maybe have that, second or college experience and come back And I know it's definitely for them, because I have had people go through who say, wow, I've come to the end. I get it. Can I go again? I'll make a better effort. And it's just a pity. So, so you're dead right. I think there is no kind of we look at everybody on an individual basis, but you get one chance to come through our program. If you want to be here, please make it, you know, that moment that you're going to give 100%. So go off, make sure this media area is for you, come back, and hopefully we can, you know, send you where you want to go and put you in that career you want.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. Jim, question for you. And somebody wants to know, they want examples of the kinds of practical projects that you do on your course. You spoke a lot about real world projects and practical projects for real clients. They just want maybe some touch points about, you know, what sort of clients have you worked with? What types of practical project work have you done?
Sure. Like most recently, and it was with a lot of graduates, we did a lot of work promoting the Wild Atlantic Way. So there was a lot of video, a lot of photography to promote purely for tourism and marketing purposes, to promote experiences and activities across the Wild Atlantic Way. We also partner with a lot of startup companies or organizations and incubation spaces for startup companies. So over the last 2 years, there's been the strongest focus on creating marketing content, marketing packages of content that would include design, photography, and video for a lot of product producers within that space. We've done a lot of stuff for the drinks industry, you know, your whiskeys, your gins, your beers, and also food. We've done a lot of stuff for food, but yet again, both video and photography, both studio-based and environmental-based. Again, what we do is we align ourselves also with, especially with startup companies that we can see on the up, that we can see rising, companies that already have a strong brand identity and a strong story and a commitment to using what we would make for them effectively. So we are very discerning about the projects that we take on, because fundamentally those projects, you know, shine a light on those that make them. So, you know, students want to be able to produce examples of excellence that are out there in the marketplace, gathering traction, and not stuff that's just going to be locked away. So the projects that we do, to answer your question, are very broad and varied. They're all industry relevant. For us, the pinnacle really is making sure that the stuff is published and out there flying in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Jim. Question for everybody here, and I'd like guys to just jump in on that. We talked a bit about portfolio when people come in. We spoke about portfolio on the way out the door as well, that you have a range of things that you've made that you can say, hey, listen, look at how good I am. Look at what I've done here. Look at what I've done there. Look at the standard of this. Look at how well I understand what you need. Look at how mature I am in terms of, you know, I get what the industry is about. But on the way in, when we do these interviews with people that are, you know, half an hour, they're not, we say interviews, but they're conversations with you. You're not going to be grilled. Like, this isn't The Apprentice. You know, you're not going to be grilled over the, you know, the table, sort of, you know, ask these impossible questions. Not at all. We want to meet you and see what you're like, because, you know, Zoom and social and all that, you get an impression from someone, but nothing beats face-to-face, and face-to-face communication is really what we're about as well. It's very important. How do you talk to people? So we want to meet you. And there's two questions about that. One is, you know, what are you guys looking for in a portfolio? And the second thing then is, look, if you don't have a lot of experience like camera editing or documentary writing or whatever, you know, is this a problem? Is that like a catch-22? If you don't have a lot of experience, is it going to come against them? So there's two connected questions. There are portfolio stroke experience and proving this on the way in when you're applying for the course. Anybody want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in on that, John. Like, certainly I use the portfolio as evidence of commitment, of evidence as being evidence of a grounded interest and not just a notion. You know, so if somebody is kind of fueled by the passion to create, it's going to express itself somehow. So I'm very open to what that portfolio might be, certainly within the context of the digital content production course. a large focus of the content that is produced is on visual media, whether it's you know, video or photography or digital imaging. But you know, I'm looking for storytellers who are just compelled to tell stories, and that can evidence itself in so many different ways. So for me, the portfolio is very much evidence of that. I'm more interested in the effort than the quality of it by a long shot, because that speaks a lot about the person. So when we're talking to people, you know, it's all about the person for us. It's really all about the person. What are they like? Are they grounded? Are they good to work with? You know, are they dependable? Have they focus? Have they intent? And so the portfolio is just very much, you know, supporting evidence to a lot of that, really.
Okay, anybody else want to jump in on that, on the portfolio? Or
Yeah.
we speak about portfolio, but it's really examples of your work and you know, what you've been trying to do. Brian, you want to come in on that?
Yeah, please. So really, in my sphere, portfolio is not needed at all. It's credits. It's what you have worked on, not, you know, your friend's little movie or whatever. Is there anything out there that you've worked on that's a credible, funded show with industry people? So, you know, if you're a camera assist, they don't really care. They don't want to see your movie on your phone. They want to know, can you set up the tower deck to wirelessly send the signal to Video Village? So that's the first thing for portfolio. It's all about getting, for me anyway, getting credits on, and say these 2 TV shows for this crew are going to get 2 good credits for RT, and then feature film credit as well. So to say about experience then, again, I don't want to frighten too many people off. For me, the biggest thing at interview is industry awareness. If I was young again and going back to do another career, I would investigate the industry I want to work in. And a lot of times, not saying all times, but a lot of times I get people coming in for interview and I get, why do you want to do the course? I love movies. Do you know where the jobs are? I love movies. Can you make a living at this? I love movies. And we all love movies, but again, what Jim was saying, we're about trying to get people into careers. So having an industry awareness, you know, if you're geographically in a certain part of the country where there isn't a huge amount of production going on, you'll have to move. So really, industry awareness is huge. We'll get you the skills for camera editing if you want those areas. But certainly for me, a big checkbox is, you know, if I was going to be a HTV driver or a welder, I would work out, you know, where the jobs are, salaries, career progression, all those things. That's a big thing for me.
Okay, before we move on from that, anybody else want to jump in around the portfolio piece? Ger, there's a few questions in on, I guess, on writing. And if people don't have a lot of writing experience, if they haven't written anything that's been made, what sort of portfolio evidence are you looking for on the way in?
Yeah, again, like Brian said, just evidence of ambition and, you know, well, I suppose like Jim in a sense, evidence of ambition and you know, drive to tell stories. That's the key. And I think if you want to be a screenwriter, I think you've probably been doodling at it to some degree. It mightn't be a script, but it could be an outline, or it could be an extended outline. It could be a treatment. So anything like that is really important. It could also be a mood board. It could be 30 images put together of a story in their head, and they just want to figure out, okay, how do I get this on the page? So I think if somebody wants to step into that arena, they will more than likely have something done in their own time that can help them, in my opinion.
Yeah, just want to make things, want to get things done. It's that sort of energy. We get that when we meet people all the time. And to echo Brian's thing, you know, it's not about closing the door on people that, you know, want to do stuff. Not at all. We want to make sure, because we have a very particular type of courses, we want to make sure that you're right for us and we're right for you. So it's only going to work if you are coming to us at the right time in your life with the right type of energy and opportunity and time to actually invest in this. We can make, there's a bigger chance of success then. But if you come at the wrong time with maybe the wrong experience and you don't have quite enough of this or that, you're not going to be able to optimize the benefit of what we offer. So that's really what the interview is about. It's about that. And portfolio is part of that. It's not a deal breaker though. Like you might come in with something that's not great quality, But if it shows intention, and if it shows ambition, and if it shows that you're trying and that you really want to tell a particular type of story, we'll talk to you, of course. So don't let that get into your heads too much and say, oh, you know, they want this and that. No, it's not about that. But we do need that sort of, I suppose, you know, Brian doesn't, but the other programs definitely, you know, would need to see some degree of intention there. Question for the digital journalism, podcasting and radio. I think this is something I want to mention at the start. It just goes to show people are listening that I'd mentioned that there was an exciting announcement or collaboration to do with the radio course. This could be I would imagine, like you guys talk about this, the partnership with Learning Waves. Joe or Connie, could you explain briefly what Learning Waves is and how unique the access to these programs would be for people on the full-time digital journalism, podcasting and radio course?
Yeah, so Learning Waves is the training provider for the independent community or commercial radio sector in Ireland. And what is so unique about it, John, is it's obviously the first time that this will be on the course. And normally Learning Waves have worked alongside independent radio stations since its inception. So the course in Kerry College is the first ever entity that is not an independent radio station that will have the ability to avail of these courses. They're bespoke courses that are custom made for the industry. So it could be in news, could be in sport, could be in presenting. I've done many of these courses myself. I know Joe has done it. It's a great way to upskill and to kind of learn about other parts of the industry that you might not be familiar with. And the students on this year's course have got access to a few of these courses, and that is something that will continue again next year. You learn from highly skilled trainers who are working in the industry. So it's people who are actually working in the industry. It could be in podcasting. It could be somebody for advanced voice and speech training. It's a wonderful initiative. And to have this on the course is a huge plus. And like I said, it's really unique to have this. A few of the courses and I have just a list of a few courses here, you know, just up in front of me. But things that are practical, like a practical approach to court reporting. Okay, advanced speech and voice training, advanced diploma in social media, advanced speech and voice training for news and sports presenters, audio production. And it's endless. It's endless. New courses come on stream each year, and they come because of the demands of the radio stations involved in them.
And just add to that, Connie, as well, like this is the standard for professionals to go and get these kind of courses and mentoring as well. Like myself, I had Eric Dixon from the BBC. He's world renowned in voiceover coaching. So that's kind of the caliber. So it is a real, when you ask what's different about the course or whatever, that's real cherry on top as well. We always have great expert speakers, but this gives us access to that bespoke kind of side of things as well. So yeah, it's definitely, it's big cool.
That's the thing. Thank you, guys. That's the thing I guess we'd like to highlight here as well, is that when you're with us, you're going to meet some great people that you wouldn't normally have access to. And you're going to meet them in a way that's not a guest talk. That's really important, I think, point that, you know, elsewhere I've had this a lot where people come in, they're really high profile, they do the guest talk. It's a bit separate from what you're there, you're sitting you're either online or in a room. There's limited interaction with these people. On our programs, you got to work with them. They got to work with you. It's workshops. It may be a course, but it's very interactive. And you get to connect and meet with people in the various course areas that are just wonderful. And they can inspire you and they can scare you, but they'll absolutely help you. And they will move you forward and move things forward for you. So I think that's definitely a competitive advantage we would have, we feel. It's easy to get someone in for a guest talk. It's a lot harder to get someone in for a couple of days to work with people, maybe to coach with them, to do extended workshops with them where you're actually working with them. And Learning Waves does sort of feed into that a bit. They are short courses, but oftentimes you can email these people afterwards because it's so industry focused. And if you have questions, you can build real relationships with them, real professional relationships with them in terms of what you want to do and where you want to go. You speak about Eric Dixon, what a wonderful guy, BBC trained, a lot of voiceover experience, endlessly helpful if you need to talk to him. But you need to meet him first. And that's the benefit of a lot of our courses. You manage to get there. Guys, I have a zinger of a question for you. And this is for everybody. This is almost like the impossible question. will your course, I won't say which course they're asking about, this is for everybody really, will your course really get me a job or work? I'm asked that a lot as well. So anybody want to take that? Yeah.
I get that all the time, John. And I think because of the 35 years the course has been around, I get, you know, Brian, I hear this is where I got to come to get a job. And I say, no, it's not. The course can't get you a job. It's you and the course give you opportunity, because, you know, back to what we've all been talking about, the individual is the other part of the equation. We're the fixed equation. The variable is you, the individual, the learner. And I've had people who have really utilized every moment they've been in Kerry the year, and I've had people that have promised me the earth at interview and have slept through the course, which is really, really disappointing. So, you know, yeah, the equation is you plus us equals opportunity. And I think our standing in the industry is still there. And but it's a tough industry. And back to what I said about, you know, interviews, a little bit of industry knowledge, a little bit of planning. Even if you check, in my world, IFTN, the Irish Film and Television News, to look up the database or the directory of production companies, that is a start, rather than coming in and just going, I want to do a course because I hear it's good. So again, you know, we want to give you the best opportunity. You're giving us a year of your life, and we're going to try and help you as best we can to get you into the industry you want to be in. Okay, Brian, anybody else want to have a go? Jim, I see you smiling away there.
Yeah, I'm happy to have a go. And, you know, without it being a glib answer, and like what Brian is saying is 100% true insofar as it's you plus us. But, you know, when I was talking about the course, you know, one of the things I stressed is that you are an active participant in your own learning. And if you come to us with focus and you come to us with intent and you wholly embrace the opportunity, I can say, certainly for the digital content producer course, the chances are extremely high of you working. But you've got to, just going back to what I was saying earlier, you've got to be solid and grounded in yourself. You have to be rock solid dependable, delivering on deadlines, turning up on time, and just all in. And yeah, like you need energy to invest. You don't have to be an Energizer bunny, but you just need to be self-propelled and moving forward and reaching for what it is you want. We'll support you every single step of the way while you're doing that, in every way. But you're driving this train. You are driving it. So in terms of the opportunity within the digital content production sector, it's extensive. And it's sustainable opportunities. By that, I mean a weekly wage, a good weekly wage. How good? Well, what's your value proposition? What do you bring into the table? What do you bring into the table? But if you are the right person, the opportunities are there.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Okay, final question, I think, because we need to wrap this up now because we're a bit over time. Ger, we spoke about portfolio on the way in, portfolio on the way out, and maybe this is not just for content development for film and television, but you know, what can I leave with after completing the course? Is the question. What am I going to have after I spend 40 weeks, you know, developing content for film and television?
Well, my program, the program that I'm involved in and have worked on, I mean, the key here is to leave with as many ideas developed and ready to be pitched as possible to the industry. Now, if you're somebody that wants to become a writer-director, which was very much my goal when I was going through the education process, you know, you can focus on one project for the entire year. You know, you can develop, if you're very focused on, okay, I want to make a feature film as a director, my goal for this year is find the idea, write the script, develop it with people that have made films and television in the industry, maybe attach an actor along the way if I'm cute enough. Also, get in the door of the Irish Film Board and speak to a development executive, find my way near a producer that might like it and get going, or else build a rapport with people that you bounce off of on the course, maybe on the other courses, and just find your way along that way. I think the energy it takes to make it to a degree is you got to be very self-resilient in terms of what you want to be and what you want to do. So it's really important. But for me, having that portfolio of projects and ideas ready to go and cooked, you can boil it for the entire year and kind of, sprinkle what you need to on top of it to get it to where it needs to be to bubble. And I think that's the goal of the course. I mean, if I look back, this is exactly where I would love to have dropped into when I was 21, 22 years of age, to just really understand the fundamentals of storytelling, of what I need to do to get my stuff made. So portfolio for me, John, is get as much as you can developed across film, television, documentary, and just get ready to hit the road after that and get these things made. For me, that's the goal, Or, like I said, if you want to work on that one thing, which is, by the way, I think is a really good option. You want to work on that one thing and be committed to that one thing for the entire year, then I think that's also a very smart move, because it gives you a lot of time to develop it and work on it and utilize the access that this course will give you. So, and if you're cute enough, you can talk nice to Brian and Jim, and they might help you shoot a promo. So. Maybe.
Yeah. Same question for you guys before we wrap, Jim and Brian, and radio as well. What are guys going to leave with? What are they going to have? I know we talk about portfolio, but it's almost like it's a whole load of proof of what you can do. What kind of things do people leave with?
John, can I come in there? Just, I suppose we mentioned this at the start, that we want people to hit the ground running, be industry ready. That's the whole focus of this course. And the year develops you and kind of gains momentum to that goal, finishing with a 12-week work experience. But that when you leave the door, you're kind of, we say like a few months in, what you want to do after. Start planning it now. Start thinking about where your work experience wants to be. What are you liking from the course? Do you see this as kind of a career path for you? And I suppose to that end, and talk about what people get out of it, I think what Jim and Brian said there is completely true. It is about you, the person, your motivation, your application to the course, and then the course will provide you with the tools after. But like we had the course just before last year. We'd only 8 in the class because it was COVID and all that. 7 of them had jobs, went on for jobs in the radio industry, including FM 104, News Talk, RTE Junior, and Radio Kerry. Last year, one of our students, straight away when he left the course, he's now a newsreader in Radio Kerry. And I mentioned Kaya, a digital media expert. That is our complete focus, that you're that from the start, from coming in to where you're leaving, that you get a career out of this, because that's important, that the whole year is worthwhile, but it's leading towards the end of it.
Yeah, and that's the point, isn't it? I suppose, Joe, it's a bridging exercise to industry, but where you end up after the course is not where you stay. You're starting, you're running, and you can go anywhere beyond that, because the big problem we've identified over the years, and it's a lot of people on this call are probably agreeing, is that it's hard to get started. We can get you started. What happens after that is entirely up to you. Jim, there's if you wouldn't mind typing an answer in as well, there's another image. This is a tricky one because it's about percentages, Jim. Photography and digital imaging make up 35% of the overall course. What's the other 65%? Feels like a maths challenge. If you want to type in that answer, please, Jim, if you don't mind. Now,
sure.
Okay. Yes, Brian.
So I just finish off there to go back to what I said originally, like, what are you going to get out of this? And really, for film and TV industry, there is no industry standard. Whether it's QQI, whether it's BTEC, whether it's whatever, they don't have much standing. When you get on set as a trainee, it's that confidence and competence, and look, I've been very lucky with the people who have come through our doors over the last number of years. I bask in the glory of their, the people come back to me, how do you make such great trainees? I don't. We're very lucky the people we get who have the fire in the belly to come in here and want to work in this industry, in the film and TV industry. And it really is, getting on set and looking and acting and understanding how to fit in to the traveling circus that normally is film and TV. So yeah, that's really it. And the piece of paper is secondary. It really is that being the expert, being able to fit in, being a people person, and hanging on for dear life, because the film and TV industry is a really, really cutthroat and difficult business. But we've had great successes in it.
That's great. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Yeah.
Sorry, John, if I could maybe just comment on that as well, in terms of what people come away with. You know, in many ways, I take the skills as a given. Certainly, if you're embracing the course, I kind of take it as a given. But the other untangible things really are clarity, focus, and confidence. And they're things that are really, really important. Part of the journey is you know, becoming clearer about who you are, becoming clearer about where you want to go, and becoming clearer and confident about what you have to offer. The portfolio is just the evidence of that. But really, all companies are looking first and foremost at the person. If you're coming to a company really clean and confident about what you have to offer, that's really valuable. The rest of the stuff, the portfolio, that's a given in my book. If you're all in.
Okay, well, thanks to all of our delivery team, to Joe and Connie for digital journalism, podcasting, and radio, to Jim Toomey for a digital content producer, to Brian Nolan for broadcast production skills, and to Jared Barrett for the digital or for the content development for film and television. Tons of questions there, and some of the questions have come in. We've kind of rolled them into sections. So thanks to everybody who's been in touch offline and also online through our Q&A section as well this evening. Really hope you found it interesting. What I would say to you is, let's keep the conversation going. What I'd be saying to you is, look, if you have additional questions, get in touch with our admissions office. We'll give you the details near the end, but you'll find them online. Talk to our admissions office. They'll put you in contact with the relevant instructor, and they will call you back and they'll have a conversation with you. It's all about this, keeping it face to face, keeping it real, and not descending into a trail of instant messages and emails and all that stuff. We're keeping it personal and keeping it real. So let's keep this conversation going. We are going to have a face-to-face open event on the 30th of August. So we're going to open up the doors of our you know, what we think is an incredible facility in August. So that's something that we're very excited about. And we're going to, you know, keep your eyes and ears peeled for details on that. But note the date, the 30th of August of this year. We'll have an open event at our Mona Valley campus in our Digital Skills Centre. You chat more about our instructors. info@kerrycollege.ie is the email address. That goes straight to our admissions team, and they can connect you with the right person, or else you can give them a call the old-fashioned way at 066-714-9696. And yes, come and visit us. Thank you so much for attending. It was great to have the conversation with the faculty and the team here as well. And hopefully we answered some of your questions tonight. This will be available on our YouTube channel when we've edited it down. And we'll have it in sections as well, so you can go to the various sections that were of interest to you. So thank you again, and thank you to our team. And until next time, good night.